friends, it's Kelshay with another Pick a Card reading, and I just want to let you know that today's reading is just a general reading about just a message that you need to hear today from yourself, your higher self, your spirit guides, whoever's talking to you today. So stick around. Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to Freya's Forge. Welcome to this week's Pick a Card reading. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to do something a little bit different this week, and instead of having just separate piles, we're doing 3 different decks. So we have the Mystic Dreamer Tarot, we have the Celtic Dragons Tarot, and we have the Universal Weight Tarot. If you're not familiar with the art on these, let me show those to you. I basically put the Magician card on the very top so that you can see those, because sometimes, you know, the art makes a difference. So this is the Mystic Dreamer. This is the Celtic Dragons. And this is the Universal Weight. If you prefer picking with some crystals, we'll pop some of those on here. So the crystal we have with the pile number 1 is a pretty piece of carnelian. Pile 2 is some ruby and zoisite. And pile number 3 is bloodstone. So take a minute with the piles and trust your intuition. I'll put the timestamps in the description below so that you can go directly to your reading once you've chosen. Know that you are not going to pick incorrectly. Let your intuition guide you. If more than one pile or deck resonates with you, or if you just want to see what each deck has to say, feel free to watch the whole video and decide at the end which one was your pile. But that being said, let's get to it. Okay, deck number 1, you chose the Mystic Dreamers Tarot. So we'll go ahead and get started with your reading. This is just basically a general message for you from the universe. It is not your fate. It is not predestined. It is basically just reminding you what you already know about the situation. So just take a deep breath and focus on what general messages that you want to get from these cards. You may not get a complete message, you know, this is a general reading, so it's not going to be specific for you, or maybe it will, you know, maybe I will channel through a message specifically for you. But let us ask the cards, what does pile number 1, deck number 1, what general message do they need to hear today? And we'll just shuffle the cards a little bit and see what cards come out. Each reader does things a little bit differently. I'm feeling that one. know, when I shuffle, sometimes just big swaths of cards will come out. Okay, I think that will do it for us. Let's see what we've got. As a reminder, I don't do reversed cards because I feel like there's enough combinations in the deck without throwing in reverses. Other readers do different things. So today you have the World, you have the Five of Cups, you have the Hanged Man, you have the Devil, there's a little bit of a glare on that, and I apologize. Let's see if I can fix it a little bit and still leave it some light. Okay, we have the Nine of Swords and the Eight of Cups. Okay, so what general reading do we have for you today? First of all, I like to look and see what the makeup of the cards is. And so you have 1, 2, 3 major arcana cards. Those tend to indicate that a big change is coming, something that is going to be obvious that is coming through. The World represents the completion of a cycle, and so you may be going through something right now that you are getting ready to complete and get ready to go into a new cycle. The Five of Cups is showing me that this is something that you're doing a lot of introspective thinking about, but you're dwelling on things that you don't have instead of relishing and celebrating the things that you do have. So I caution you to really look at the things that you have. Be grateful for the things that are present in your life that can positively impact you. And don't dwell on the things that you don't have, or that don't cry over spilled milk, basically, is kind of how I refer to that card. You also have 2 cups, and cups represent water or emotion. And so this may be a very emotional time. The 8 of Cups, which is this card here, does represent kind of walking away from a situation. And so it may be representing the situation that you're leaving, or being afraid to walk towards the new situation. So the Hanged Man is showing that you are kind of in a pause, a time to stop and reflect and think about the new situation that's coming, the situation that has just resolved itself. And the Devil is telling me to caution you to not dwell too much on the material plane. The Nine of Swords tends to represent kind of a depressive state, and so we do get bogged down, especially when this video is going live. It's the holidays. We get bogged down with those emotions and dreading the holidays, and especially during a pandemic, we're afraid to really focus in on the good in things. And so you're dwelling on the things that you don't have rather than rejoicing and celebrating the things that you do have. So the caution is, I think that's the key word that I'm getting for you all, is caution, deck number 1. Just be careful in your thinking. Make sure that you are really thinking about your situation and think about the positive. Keep a gratitude journal, or make sure that you're looking at things from every perspective rather than just the perspective of what you don't have. Let's see if there's anything else that I need to tell you all about this. It is a completion, but there's a delay in the completion, is what I'm just now getting. So the situation is going to resolve, but it may take a little bit of time, especially if you keep dwelling on it and rehashing it and overthinking it and just putting more and more energy into, is this thing going to end already? Okay. And I am going to see if you need, I think you need some animal guides as well. So let's pull some animal spirits out of the box. Not very well prepared. I do apologize. All right. For deck number 1, who needs to come and give them more information? Deck number 1. Anybody come there? We have a dolphin. Tune into the rhythm of your breath and find stillness and patience. Let's see if there's anybody else. You've got lion. Banish loneliness by reaching out to special friends. And eagle. Create your vision. Okay. So what these are telling me is just a repeat of what the tarot told us. Basically, the 9 of Swords does indicate loneliness, which the lion is telling us that you can banish that by reaching out to special friends. Again, as this video is going live, it is the holiday season and it's difficult to get with friends and family and things because of the pandemic. So I would just say, you know, if you can reach out to them either in person or via a Zoom call or something like that. Zoom, if it's a one-on-one call, it's free. You can just download it and you can talk for, I think, up to 30 hours. So if it's just a one computer to one computer, reach out to your friends, reach out to your family. If you do have the opportunity to visit with them in person, I do recommend it. But reach out. You know, you may have friends and family that are usually the people that will reach out to you. So take a minute to reach out to them. Sometimes the people who are the most often the ones that are going to reach out are the ones that need someone to reach out to them. So that is what I would encourage you to do. The dolphin is saying, tune into the rhythm of your breath and find stillness and patience. And that's where the hanged man, the echo is in the hanged man. Just take some deep breaths. If you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling lonely, whatever it is that you're feeling that is causing you discomfort and just not a really good time, just take some big deep breaths and just let that anxiety just flow out of you and go back into the universe to be recycled and made into different energy. Energy is neutral. when it goes back to the universe. So take some deep breaths, find your stillness, find your patience, and just relax into it. And then the eagle is telling us to create your vision. What I saw from that is this might be a good time to do a vision board. You can do those digitally. You can cut pictures out of magazines. You can draw, but create your vision. What if the world is not looking good to you, if you're seeing things that you don't have versus the things that you do have, if you're overthinking and you're dwelling on a situation, create your vision. What do you want your life to look like in the future? It's up to you to create it. Okay? And I think that's all I have for you, deck number 1. I really hope this did resonate with you. I will link the decks that I use in every reading down in the description. And I hope that you are having a wonderful week and that you have a wonderful week ahead, and we'll see you next time. Welcome to your reading, deck number 2. You chose the Celtic Dragon deck and the Ruby and Zoisite. This reading is just a general reading, message you need to hear, your higher self, spirit guides, whoever is trying to give you that message. So take a deep breath and focus on what resonates the most with you in the reading. Okay, let's get started. And I'm just going to shuffle the cards and ask, what does those who chose this deck, what do they need to hear the most right now? What message is it that they need to hear the most? Okay. You have, as a reminder, I don't do reverses because I feel like each deck has enough combinations of cards without throwing reverses into the mix. So you have, let's see if you can see it okay, the 5 of Cups. Just interesting because that came out in deck number 1 as well. You have the Magician. You have the 5 of Wands. You have the Queen of Cups. And you have the 9 of Swords. And that one also came out in pile number 1, which is interesting. But as this video goes live, it is the holidays, and so we all tend to get a little bit introspective and hermity. We don't have the Hermit card down here, but so the 2 cards that came up before, I will just kind of reiterate what I said about them. The 5 of Cups tends to indicate that you are in a situation where you are focusing on the things that you don't have. You're envious of other people and you're not seeing the things that you do have. And I don't know if you can see the little baby dragons that are up here. They're basically telling the guy, hey, look, dude, you've got some full cups here. Let's look at what you do have as opposed to what you don't have. So I encourage you to keep a gratitude journal if you don't already do so, and write down 5 things every day that you are grateful for. Sometimes if you're in a really particularly down 9 of Swords kind of energy, you may have to rewrite the same things every single day for a while just to remind yourself, hey, I've got 5 things in my life that I'm grateful for. You know, sometimes when I'm feeling really, really down, I will tend to write, you know, my husband, my cats, my dog, coffee every single day because sometimes those are the only things that I can think of that I'm really, truly grateful for. And Nine of Swords does indicate a period of depression, anxiety, confusion, that sort of thing. So if you'll focus on what it is that you have versus that which you do not have, maybe you can pull yourself out of that. And I'm seeing with the Magician, you already have every single tool at your disposal to bring you out of that situation. Okay? You have every emotion, you've got every thought, you've got every action already within you to bring you out of that situation. And the Five of Wands is showing you that you will be victorious. If this is a dark night of the soul kind of thing, if this is you're having an argument with your significant other or your parents or your children, you know, if there's something going on that's causing you to focus on the negatives, then pull everything at your disposal and you will be victorious. And the Queen of Cups is, for me, that emotional sweet spot. So you're having a situation where you're focusing on the negative, you're depressed or despondent or anxious or some not so happy emotion, but you have everything in you to bring yourself through that, be victorious, and find that emotional sweet spot. The cups represent water, and that, you know, you've got your 2 cups here. That represents water, which represents emotion. Swords are air, which represent intellect and logic and things like that. And wands are fire, which is creativity, that kind of masculine energy. And we will be doing some talking about the various elements at some point on the channel, so stay tuned for that. But let's see if there are any animals today that want to come and give you a message, deck number 2. And I will link to these decks in the description if you're interested in owning them for yourself. I'm not an Amazon affiliate, so I will get nothing for that. I just want to share with you the ones that I have. I love the art in this. All right, for deck number 2, are there any animals that need to come and share their message today? Any animals? Fill in that one. So we've got Mountain Goat, which says, fighting for love or ardent declarations may hide unfaithfulness. Interesting. Any other animals that need to talk today for deck number 2? Apparently so. Okay. We have got the hummingbird. Turn away from infidelity so that love may blossom. And the seal, which hard work and inspiration are the foundation of true creativity. So these 2 cards, they both talk about infidelity or unfaithfulness or whatnot. I don't see this as necessarily an indication that your significant other is unfaithful to you. I think what this is encouraging you to do is keep your lines of communication open. With the seal being the last one, hard work and inspiration are the foundations of true creativity. This is just telling me keep those lines of communication open. Make sure that you're talking with one another, and maybe that's the situation that you're in, that you're seeing the glass half empty, where you're not really having good communication with someone in your life, and you really need to decide what's going on. So just really communicate with yourself. Keep a journal. I'm going to harp on journalizing pretty much every chance I get because it's so important. So I would just keep a journal and be a good communicator with yourself in addition to anyone else in your life. And really hone in on those scratchy bits in your relationship that might be causing unrest for either for you or for a significant other. Relationship is not necessarily romantic in this situation. I'm not actually getting romance so much as I am just communicate with the people in your life, because they are included in this Magician card of all of the tools at your disposal. And I know that sounds a little bit kind of, I don't know, flippant maybe, that you're not, that you're using, that they're tools like a screwdriver or a hammer, but everything in your metaphysical toolbox includes people, includes resources, includes nature, everything in your toolbox magically, which it's the Magician. These, communicate with the people in your life because they really have something that you need to be able to get through this situation. Okay? So listen to your guides, listen to your people, listen to yourself, and you're going to be okay. And I hope this resonated with you at least a little bit. It might not have been every card. Maybe one of the cards more resonated with you than others, but I do hope you enjoyed the reading and that you've had a wonderful week and that you have a great week ahead. And we'll see you next time. Welcome to your reading, deck number 3. I am glad you are here. If you chose the Universal Weight or the Bloodstone, you are in the right place. Today's reading is about just a general reading. It is a timeless reading that is just a message for you from your spirit guides, from your ancestors, your higher self, however you choose to visualize this message and the direction that it's coming from. It is for your highest good, and it is not fate. The cards are merely a tool to help you realize what you already know. So let's see what this deck has to say to you. All right, Spirit, what does this group who chose this deck, what do they need to know today? It'll be really interesting to see. There's been a couple of cards that have come out in the other 2 readings, so it'll be really interesting to see if they come out for you all as well. Okay. Anything else for deck number 3? All right. Let's see what we have for you. As a reminder, other readers do reverses. I do not, because I feel like each deck with 78 cards in it has enough combinations without throwing reverses into the mix. But there are readers who do. So we have for you the Tower, we have the Ace of Pentacles, we have the Lovers, we have the Sun, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. And I love this deck. It's the Pamela Coleman Smith illustrations, but it's Mary Hanson Roberts coloring, which just softens it a little bit for me. I just have to say right off the bat, you've got 5 cards and 4 major arcana, which is showing me, even if we take the Tower out of the mix, which we'll get to in just a second, it's showing me that you've got some interesting things going on in your life, deck number 3. So let's dive right into it. First, let's take the minor arcana, which is the Ace of Pentacles. It's showing me that there is a new situation in the offing of a financial matter or a physical. Pentacles represent earth, which is money, physicality, actual earth, you know, like dirt. So, and aces represent a new beginning or a new offer. So what these cards are telling me, again, is that you've got some major things going on. But look at all the yellow here. This is showing me that it's not as bad as it might seem with the Tower as our first card that we drew. Okay. The Tower, if you're familiar with tarot at all, a lot of times when people talk about the Tower, it is this sudden cataclysmic, oh my gosh, change. And that's pretty evidenced from the imagery on the card. Okay. It's showing these people taking a dive out of a tower that's been struck by lightning. Okay. Well, there's a lot of ways that you can look at that. Change, despite most of us having issues with change, change is not always a bad thing. Sometimes if you change homes, if you change careers, if you change relationships, it seems bad at the time. Not always, you know, sometimes when you put the key in the lock of the house that you've bought, your first home, that's good, but your body doesn't understand the difference between good stress and bad stress. It's all stress. You know, like energy is neither good nor bad. Stress is neither good nor bad, the way that our bodies process it. And so you may be in a very stressful situation, and that's kind of what I'm getting for you, deck number 3, is that you're in a stressful situation, but it's not necessarily a bad stressful situation. Okay. And the reason I say that is because you've got the Sun and the Lovers. So you're in this situation, but you're not in it alone, whether it's family, friends, significant other, business partner, dog, cat, somebody is in your life and is going to see you through this situation. And the Sun always, okay, I hate to use words never and always, but for the most part, the Sun represents to me a joyous, positive, warm, fuzzy outcome to a situation. But this Wheel of Fortune is also showing that there are things that are part of the situation that you need to go through to get to the other side that are kind of preordained, as it were. Tarot isn't your future. It's not locked in stone. And so what you're getting with this reading right this second, you could sit and say, you know what? No, I'm going to change it, and it's going to change. So do not ever feel like any tarot reader is telling you your exact fortune and foretelling the future and you're locked into it. There's a difference between fortune telling and divination. Okay, divination is communication with the divine, and this is just a tool that helps either me help you, or if you learn how to use it, because anyone can, this is a tool that helps you interpret the messages that you're getting from the divine. There are people who don't need the cards. They can just sit there and plug in like a USB cord to the divine and get the download. And the cards are for those of us whose connection is maybe not as clear as theirs. Okay, so yes, it's a stressful situation, and I'm feeling it for you, that it seems like it's difficult to get through it. I know when we bought our house, it was a very stressful situation sitting there in the closing room and signing my life away. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of money. What am I doing? But ultimately, it turned out to be a really, really, really good thing. Okay. Leaving my job recently was very, very stressful, but has turned out to be a very good thing. So just sit with it a little bit, take some deep breaths, just sit with the situation and realize that no matter how stressful it is, it's going to be okay. So the next deck we're going to pull some cards from is Animal Messages, because I like me some animals. So let's see what animals are here to talk to deck number 3 today. And I will link to all of the decks that I'm using today down in the description so that you can get your hands on them if you choose to. I am not an Amazon affiliate, so I will earn nothing from you buying them. So I just want to share the knowledge that I have. Just the one. Anybody else want to talk with deck number 3, or is it just that one? Okay, so we have the Frog. Adapt and survive by accepting the inevitable and seizing potential. And Butterfly. Delight in life and embrace change as the source of your creativity. And what were we just talking about, y'all? We were talking about change. Let's put these where you can actually see them, shall we? So yeah, so change is not a bad thing. It's hard. Most of us don't really like it a whole lot, but it changes your perspective. It changes your view on the world. Sometimes, you know, if all you can do is, instead of looking out the window in front of you, stand up, turn around, and look out the window on the other side of the house or apartment or room, if you've got more than one window. Or step outside, or whatever. One of my very favorite movies in the whole world is a Robin Williams movie called Dead Poets Society. And he, as Professor Keating, does an exercise with his class where he has them stand on his desk and look at the classroom from a totally different perspective. Okay. And, you know, the guys are like getting up there and stepping off and getting up there and stepping off. And he's like, you know, don't act like lemmings, look around you. So that is what I encourage you all who chose deck number 3. Take a minute to change your perspective. Look at things in a totally different way, whether that's lay on the floor and look up, or, you know, I don't know, but that's kind of what I'm seeing is that movie. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It is a teary movie. I cry. I've seen it 1,000 times and I cry every time I see it. But it really does talk a lot about embracing change and how things can look from a different perspective. And so the frog, by adapting and surviving, by accepting the inevitable and seizing potential, that kind of goes into the Wheel of Fortune, that some things are inevitable. We can change a lot of things in our lives, but not everything is changeable. You know, it's or at least not changeable immediately. And so accepting the situation as it is, knowing that you can change it, and then putting forth the effort to change it. Sometimes a tower situation, while stressful and uncomfortable that they may be, sometimes they are just exactly what you need to get you moving again, right? Because we get so bogged down in the day-to-day, the comfort zone, the, you know, routine. You know, a lot of us really like routine. And sometimes those routines are not serving us anymore, but we don't want to give them up, right? We don't want to change. We don't want our situation to change. We don't want the people around us to change. We don't want ourselves to change. And so sometimes the universe says, okay, look, y'all, this is not working. This is not serving you. This is not helping you serve the universe. So guess what? We're going to light a fire under your butt and get you moving again. And sometimes, just even if it's not a huge change, it might seem like a huge change, but just that nudge behind you, getting you to take that next step, can start the new situation and create new potential. So deck number 3, I hope that resonated with you. It might not have been every single card that did resonate, but I hope that something did, and that you have had an amazing week and that you have a wonderful week ahead. And until next time, we'll see you later.